Porunga may not have been available at Premium Bandai, but look at all the Namek goodness that was. Don't miss out on the next releases and head on over to the link in the description down below.
Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hello there, collectors. Steven here, and we're going to be kicking off the Namek reviews with the one, the only, the eternal dragon of the planet Namek. The Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus Z Last Prize Porunga. Fantastic. Previously, in the Ultimate Variation Ichiban Kuji, we had Shenron as the last prize, and oh boy, now we have the dragon from Namek, and without an official distribution in the United States, fans really want to know if they're going to be dropping the same amount of coin for Namek's dragon, if it's going to be worth it. Yeah, so buckle in, buckos, because this one is going to be worth taking a look at. Let's take a look to see whether or not Porunga is going to be worth adding to your collection, and you're going to need this review. Now, this one is actually rather important. I do want to go over the unboxing, the unbagging of Porunga. Why? Pretty simple and straightforward. You see, it's kind of confusing first and foremost because the bag is just going to be held in by tape, and the handle there, it's actually going to have cardboard as a reinforcement, and as you unfold the cardboard, you're going to see that there are instructions for how to assemble Porunga. Yep, that's right, you're going to have to put some parts together, but it's actually really easy and you don't even need the instructions for this. So if you do happen to buy this secondhand, then if this is missing, trust me, you just put the round peg in the square hole and you're good to go. Now, here's the real big downside. You're gonna have to tear open the bag to get Porunga out, unless I'm mistaken here, and somebody else knows how to do this. Yeah, so the bag, it's gonna get smaller, but thankfully you can put Porunga back in along with all of the attachment parts, but it's just not quite the same. So, yeah, it is what it is. Shenron came with a box, which I really would have appreciated myself, but, yeah, you know, I guess it is what it is. Now, you see me struggling here a little bit, picking up Porunga and putting him back down and all that good stuff. Why is that? Shenron was actually rather light, and the Golden Great Ape Goku was rather light as well. I do have the Great Ape Vegeta from the original Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus, and he's pretty light as well. Porunga, yeah, he is a Gibson Les Paul. Yeah, he's gonna be over 8 pounds by himself. Yeah, that's quite a hefty, thick boy. Yeah. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get a close look at the figure, and oh boy, Porunga is very intimidating in this 360 spin view. And you can already see that there are a lot of really fantastic small details on this figure, which really happen to pop, again, even at a distance, and help bring Porunga to life. I will say right off the top, this figure does look better than Shenron, and Shenron already did look really good. The issues that I had with Shenron were essentially they didn't really use a whole lot of shading to bring out the details, and Shenron's colors really did pop, but not necessarily in a good way. Here for Porunga, we have some fantastic shading that is applied all throughout the body. The yellows that are used actually have a nice dry brushing or airbrushing to them depending on the area to really enhance the muscles that this giant dragon has. And as we take a look at the green on him, he has a whole little bunch of dimples and scales on him, very cool. It's not just going to be a straight green like Shenron had in some areas. Porunga is actually going to have a nice variation in shade there throughout the figure, so this way the details really do pop. It's very cool. And actually, whenever I think of Porunga, I always think of him really high up in the sky and it being very dark. I think a great display would be a rather dark room with maybe some spotlights pointing up towards Porunga. That would be class. But anyway, the actual detailing here, like I said, it's really fantastic, and there are only some minor quality control blips that my particular Porunga has. You'll be able to see on his torso area, there's a random red streak, and on his teeth, I think it's going to be the right side, there's a little blotch. But other than that, I mean, Porunga's pretty rock solid. Is it going to be worth the price that I paid? No, and I'm going to make a video kind of talking about price that we pay versus what companies put into these things. There's something to really keep in mind here. The Ichiban Kuji lotteries, I'm kind of saying the same word twice, but anyway, those are meant to be anywhere between 5 to 900 yen per ticket, and you get the prize that you're going to get, whether it's going to be a hand towel or you could land on this. So it's going to vary in a wide array there. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, Porunga doesn't have any accessories and he doesn't have any articulation, but something to keep in mind that in this particular Ichiban Kuji, we actually had an accompanying Dende figure with some Namekian Dragon Balls. Dende is going to be in the appropriate pose where he's throwing his hands up in the sky, summoning Porunga. That was actually distributed in the United States, but Porunga was not. Why? Size comparison time where you can see just how big Porunga is. I had to back my camera out for this. I had to move my seat behind the camera in front of my tail. I mean, he's big. So I really only think Dragon Ball collectors are going to really be picking this one up. So I mostly just stuck to Dragon Ball figure arts. Now, on that note, I am sorry to Kuji collectors or Ichiban Show collectors. They're the same thing. Anyway, I'm really sorry to you folks. I really don't collect these types of figures except for when it would be appropriate, like here. So I can only really throw in Shenron as well, so you can get a good idea of how big these two dragons will be. I'd imagine they'd be somewhere close on your shelf. Also, figure arts collectors, I'm sure you're getting several of the Namek figure arts, or the Namek Saga figure arts anyway. So I threw in some of the Namekian Dragon Balls you're going to be getting, so this way you can maybe get an idea for how your setup will look. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. When it came to the Ultimate Variation Shenron versus the Figure Art Shenron, let me know if you want a proper figure fight of that. I sort of got the Ultimate Variation because I had a gut feeling that it would be better than the Figure Art Shenron. Obviously, the Figure Art Shenron is going to be at a different price point when you factor in the aftermarket price, but I really do feel that the Ultimate Variation Shenron is better than the Figure Arts. Now, Tamashii Nations has teased a Figure Arts Porunga several years ago, and I kind of felt that the Ichiban Kuji here would be better than a potential Figure Arts Porunga. And I do have to say that all of the issues that I had with Shenron are pretty much completely fixed with Porunga. He's in a great pose. All of the quality control issues are basically fixed. He has great paint applications. Mwah, fantastic. Now the only thing is going to be the price. Yeah, you know how much Shenron costs, so this one's going to be north of 300. So if you're not really feeling that, maybe hope that Tamashii Nations will go ahead and put out a Figure Arts Porunga. Maybe that'll be a little easier on the wallet. However, I think for the size, this is going to be fantastic for a display on the shelf. Look, we're never going to get in-scale Eternal Dragons, whether it's going to be the Black Star Shenron, which is also going to be coming out soon, normal Shenron, Porunga, anyone else. So these types of figures, the large, essentially statues that we're going to get out of the Ichiban Kuji stuff, this is fantastic to have.
Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.